Start recording. There we go. Should be live. Hello.
Hello.
We're live. Can you hear us? Hello. Good chat. I'm gonna post the announcements. Post this one. Post the other one. Where's the other one? There
Hello,
we go.
beautiful chat.
Post this one. There we go. Hello. Nobody. Posting this one. Oh, there we go. Hello, it's the Chuckville episode there. Hello. Hello. Hello,
Citro.
Ah,
That's not my
Citro.
name.
You're Citro now.
No, I'm not.
Chuckville, greetings from the new play. Check out the new place. Hello.
Greetings.
Can you hear us fine?
You hear us pretty good?
Type too fast. No, he's Citro now. Either named Cyro, he's Citro now.
Right.
Another one with S. S8. My stream is freaking out. I'm on quest right now. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Can you hear us fine? I don't know if the audio is okay because nobody said so.
Yeah, is the audio doing fine, guys?
Hello.
Is this stream just going to be us saying hello for 5 minutes?
Check the fix that sounds good. Hello. Well, hello and welcome. Welcome to another episode of Resonance. We just say something which is saying sounds fine. Thank you. So, this is another episode of the Resonance. I'm Froox, I'm here with Sarah, and we're going to be answering any questions you might have about Resonite for the next 2 hours or so. Oh yeah, I didn't notice. Also Christmas time. We'll be answering the questions. Feel free to ask anything about the Resonite. It can be technical, it can be philosophical, the future, the past, like whatever you want to know, or even if it's just like, personal questions, like just kind of chatting about stuff. That's two. Oh, my streaming's like freaking out right now. I'm on like Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's
Oh boy. Oh boy, I kinda died. Oh jeez. Yeah, the Wi-Fi is kind of. Oh, there we go. It's clearing up. Sorry. I've been traveling, so like I'm on my quest right now, and it's going over Wi-Fi. So it's a little bit not as good as wired. But yeah, welcome. The one thing, make sure to put a question mark at the end of your message on Twitch. That way, it pops another thing here, and we can answer the question, and we don't miss. We also have some questions from. Discord. So we'll be going through those first. We're gonna skip, we started kind of doing a new section where we still show stuff from the socials, but unfortunately I'm kind of more limited on hardware now, and I haven't done the integration for embeds yet, so I can't really easily bring them in. So we're gonna skip that one today, unfortunately. There's this should be everything, I think. So we're gonna go through Discord questions, and we're gonna go through the Twitch ones. So I think we can get started. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Am I forgetting anything? Oh, thank you, the new Bobastic for the raid. Thank you. Hello everyone who just joined. We're answering your questions from Twitch. We're also going through ones from Discord first. Just put a question mark, and it pops on our thing, and then we can answer it. So with it, let's get started. So I will pull the first. This is the first question from Discord. Let me just duplicate it so I can read it. Froox is asking, if the NeosDB was deleted, does the migration tab now serve any purpose? Is the migration dash tab going away? If so, when? So this is something we kind of get asked about a bit. There's actually multiple purposes for it. And it definitely does serve purpose, because one of the things you can do is you can migrate one Resonite account to another account. So if you want to move stuff between accounts, that can be used for that. It'll migrate stuff between two Resonite accounts. The whole point of migration is it works between any two compatible infrastructures. And it's actually now like additional usages. If you check the devlog, Parallel Prime has been working on setting up infrastructure for a business client, and essentially run their own infrastructure. And in order to make things work and test things, he actually needs to move stuff from the Resonite cloud to the business cloud, and the migration also serves a purpose. He's used that functionality to move some stuff over. So the migration is not going away. There's a bunch of other uses for it. Some are like more business related, but there's also like reasons you can use it. What we'll do is we'll eventually just move it somewhere else. It's probably going to happen like sometime around like when we redesign more chunks of the UI. Generally, the idea is like we're going to move it like make like a tab, like something like tools and something, and you'll find it there if you need it. So it doesn't need to be like top level, but as a functionality itself, there's lots of reasons for it. Some of the business clients even depend on it, so the functionality itself is not going away. It's always going to be accessible in some way. Next question. This is a longer one. Where do I even put it? So, okay, so I made a space. Let's see. Yosh is asking, when it comes to not breaking legacy content, there's generally two main ways to go about it. One, making legacy loaders that will auto-convert content under runtime for each time such legacy content is spawned locally. Two, doing sweepy share of all legacy content on server-side, converting legacy content to current standards once, which can then be used without issue at runtime. Resonance seems to take form approach most of the time. I know that as a URL for record can change while keeping record ID the same, but not to my knowledge this ever been done by team to promote legacy content to current standards and do away with runtime legacy loaders. Why not? It's a separate question. Describe my mod, optimize impulse evaluation, log legacy reflex loader, legacy behavior.
I think the second part is going to be a separate question.
Oh. One thing, if you have two separate questions, please make them two separate messages. Otherwise, we're probably gonna like miss that, because when editing this, usually go like by this. Like I'll just look like when there's a question, I'm like, okay, this is one question. So it kind of makes it much harder to like figure out when the second question is. So one message per question, please. Anyway, to the question itself, there's a few reasons like why we actually do the first one. One of them is the legacy conversion is not necessarily perfect. There can be edge cases that it can miss. There can be errors in the conversion. There can be things that are missed. If you do it like one time and you essentially override the old content, any mistakes you made during that conversion are now baked in. And now, whatever original you had, that is lost forever. And it's something we want to avoid. So, it only happens like when you load the item. As long as you don't override the item yourself, we can still make any corrections to the conversion algorithm, and we can make conversions to old content or even any mistakes, and just spawn it again if the conversions happen, without losing the original data. So that's one of the major reasons. We pretty much don't want if we run the conversion globally for everything, there's a lot of content we could end up corrupting as a result. So we're not gonna do it. This way, if there is a problem with conversion and you spawn something, usually you can also tell during pre-release, we tell you don't override the content, report the conversion bug, and we'll try to fix it, and then you can just spawn it again. You can also yourself spawn it, and do manual fixes and save it, but the point is we don't want to corrupt a bunch of content. The other thing is, the other major reason, not all the content is actually on the cloud. You can have, stuff that's exported to Resonite packages, and this can exist whatever, maybe somebody uploads them to Gumroad. There's no way to upgrade that. You can have it stuff that's saved locally too. So there's also content that is not reachable from from a cloud. So we essentially would be saying like, oh, like all that content is now broken, and that's another thing we don't want to do. We want like one of our biggest philosophies is like we design things so it kind of works, long term, and we're kind of like committed to doing that. And we're like a lot of the mechanisms we have, they actually make it like easy to do and maintain that, because they form like there's like a mechanism for like doing the upgrades. But yeah, that's pretty much like two main reasons like why we do the first approach. And also like not the only ones like like to do it. Consider something, for example, Minecraft, like which kind of went through a bunch of like bunch of different format versions. But it'll still like load the old maps, and usually if you load like a really old map, what it'll do, it'll convert it from like the old alpha version to like the beta version, and then like the next one is just kind of change the conversions as well. But yeah, generally maintaining long-term compatibility is one of our strongest philosophies for Resonite, and doing the second option would break it. So that's why we don't go with that option. For a second question, specifically more optimized for validation progress per legacy loader. If it's right on legacy behaviors, have some fixed. Do you foresee stuff like legacy per Froox loader becoming a maintenance burden 3 years in the future, and changes to Froox will be made? Will there ever be time when it's considered it's no longer worth maintaining to sweeping conversion as several legacy assets of it? Maybe. It kind of sounds like it just kind of broke something though, because like generally the conversion should be like it's a relatively isolated process. So the way the conversion is kind of written and the things are written around it is so it kind of considers like transitionary code, but like then the new code doesn't need to like worry about it too much. So generally it's not like much of a maintenance burden. I don't know what happened like with a mod, like probably omitted something, or something was kind of like not work, like not being considered, so it probably exploded things. But like it'll depend, like if something does really become like a big maintenance burden, then like we can have conversations like how do we like deal with it. How do we like, we would probably maybe like isolate things, like we would isolate the conversion code, make it like into conversion utility, and build it into like a standalone tool that's now not connected to the code base, but it's like say for example separate command like utility. If it takes old content, it's gonna like invoke that, and we don't have to like maintain that one anymore. Maybe something along those lines, but like it would take a lot for us to like consider breaking compatibility, and we'll look for lots of ways to avoid doing that.
So I just wanted to clarify that Yash did actually send those as two different messages, but Discord doesn't show the name when you send them too close together.
Oh, I see. I mean, we're kind of related anyway, so it kind of works. Next question is from Moonbase. Moonbase asking, due to next priority being developer health, is Resonite development essentially halted until internal stuff is resolved? No. I mean, if you even look at the... I don't even know where to begin with this one, because it feels like you haven't even read stuff like with the like what was stuff with the like what were we going focusing on, because part of the like development health is we're going to be focusing more on like fun issues, fun features, which is still Resonite development. But also like if you look at the update channel, we've released a bunch of updates, so pretty much you've got to answer there. It's also like focusing on improving our processes. I feel that's still like Resonite development. We're still improving the platform. We might not be necessarily improving features, which we're still doing, because like it is also part of it. And we're also still focusing on things, because like for example on the creative day, we are like that's like one of the days out of the week, and the 4 days we're still like focusing on other stuff, and we've already released a bunch of builds. We're just a bunch of contributions improving different things. also, like, the creative stuff, that's still Resonite development. That's still helping, the platform, adding new and fun features. And even stuff like improving processes, that's still part of the development, because that like helps the future like work on the code. Like making a platform like this is not just writing code and add features. It's something like processes. How do we update things? How do we evaluate things? How do we work? That all comes as a part of the development. So that's kind of contributing to it. And I think it's healthier to like think of those things as part of the development itself. And that was kind of the whole point of the of focusing on the mental health, is making it a project. Because for the longest time we were like oh, it's not adding, some of these things are not adding features, some of the stuff is like not doing this, therefore like it just gets shoved on the side and it gets addressed and becomes bigger and bigger problem, one that actually affected efficiency and slow down like a lot of features, slow down a lot of bug fixes, created a lot of like issues. So it was already affecting the development. So we need to kind of tackle it as a feature itself, because that helps with overall development process. And for that, I think it's like important to consider it, it's just part of the project, focusing on these things, and it's part of development, making the development processes better and making the development process more efficient. Plus, like I said, I recommend like watching the video, because we kind of go into a lot of detail. There's even a lot of features that kind of come as part of this. Some of it's like fun features. Some other parts is like, for example, the social embeds. That's also like a feature that anybody can use on the platform. Stuff like it.
Well, it looks like Froox is having an internet. I think the recording should still be going, so I guess we'll wait till he's back.
Okay. Am I back? Hello? Sorry, the Wi-Fi is really bad. Oh, hello. Sorry, the Wi-Fi just cut out and the headset disconnected completely. It's like real bad right now. Everything is like very pixely. Okay, I'm back. I can see it again. But yeah, like those things are part of development as anything else. So now the development is not getting halted, and us focusing on these things, that's just another part of like, of the development. Oh, jeez. Okay, next question's from CoinTheCat. How difficult would it be to duplicate animated materials like the rainbow glint on solid tools, since they have different fields? Wouldn't that already require custom shaders? Seeing how often... Oh, separate questions again. I'll do this. So, kind of by nature, you can't duplicate animated materials, because you can duplicate materials if they're, they're the same. They're never gonna be like, they're never gonna be like unique. But by deriving them, you're essentially making them unique, which means you can't duplicate them, because at any point they can be different from others, which means you can't merge them because it would break them. So it's kind of, they're like two separate, like opposing concepts, essentially. Custom shaders are not really gonna help you there, because if you're driving the properties to be, different, like if you're driving them, the system doesn't know, like, if they're ever gonna be driven, if they're always gonna be driven, like, to be exactly the same. That, like, you can have arbitrarily complex logic for, doing that, and the system, like, there's not like really automated way to figure out, oh, this like complicated code will always produce the same results for these like materials. So like, there's not really a way to duplicate that. Because at any point it could produce, different results. The material needs to be kept distinct. And the other question is, seeing how often you're getting really long questions, are you considering adding more limit to office hours questions? Not sure. It's gonna be difficult because like some questions require like longer, some not. So I don't want like just get a hard limit because it kind of gets it more difficult to go into more details on some things. But it more depends why is the message long? Like for some things, like if it's like focused on asking technical questions, that can help. But if it's like doing a lot of like philosophizing and giving like a lot of like story of like things like that might not be really relevant for the question itself. And it gets a little bit harder. We generally like encourage people to keep it like succinct as much as they can, but not considering adding like any like fixed limit at this point. Okay. Ooh, and we've gotten daylight. We can move to this area. We could set up another camera over here with another view. Here we go. Oh, and look at the frog. I picked this like really pretty world because it has a snow theme. There we go. Okay, so now that we are done with the questions from Discord, we can start going through the questions from the Twitch chat. I've got a few. Remember, if you've got like any questions, put like a question mark at the end, and that way it kind of pops on our thing. So the first one we got from a. Just jump. The first question is from Ace on Twitch. They're asking Schnobbit. I do have a list. I might like pick one thing from that. So let me open up my document. Just I do have a Schnobbit in the meanwhile. Hello.
Yeah. Sorry, I had my mic muted. Sorry. Do I have a Schnobbit? Let me think for a sec. I guess. Okay, I guess I have a little bit of a Schnobbit. I've been kind of like a little bit like burnt out. So like if you see me in a world, I'd ask you to like don't come up to me and be like, "Hey, Sarah, did you see this like glitch I found? Do you see this issue I found?" So I'm just gonna tell you to report it on the GitHub, please, because I'm a little burnt from that. So I'll look at it when I get to it on the GitHub.
Well, actually, I had a different one, but I'm actually gonna do the same. Like it gets kind of difficult because like when people do that, like you can't really turn off, and then like your brain is just like, nope. Like I had like the issue like where like anything like I look at any complex problems or like anything like that, and my brain just goes like, no, I don't know what programming is anymore. It just none of it makes any sense, and part of that is like because there's just really hard to like have that separation, like between like what is like work and what is just kind of hanging out, and having to just constantly worry about problems, worry like about like bugs and so on. It gets difficult. Yeah. So generally, there's actually part of like the reason like why one of the things as form of like focusing on mental health. Part of that is having a document on how to direct people to the correct channels. And we're like, okay, somebody has a bug, please put it on GitHub. That's the proper channel for that. Like we don't really take reports in DMs or in person.
I guess Froox will probably come back in a second.
Oh, sorry, Wi-Fi died again. Well, if it's like GitHub, like if it's a bug, please report on GitHub. Like we don't really take reports in DMs. We don't take reports like in person. If it's like, issue with a user, make a moderation report. If it's like, if you have a question for things, bring it to Resonance, bring it to these channels, because there's also a thing, sometimes like we join a world and there's a bunch of people and they're like, oh, Froox, how do I do this? How do I do that? Or like how do you like, I've done this thing and it's done this thing and like, it's doing this thing and, how do I like, and it's like, and I just came in and I just wanted to hang out and like, now I'm like having to like go back into thinking about code and figuring things out, and it makes it harder. So
Yeah.
whatever is, just kind of like directing people to the right places to ask things.
Yeah, and like I know that some of you guys bring it up in like a friendly manner. You're not trying to like bring it up as like a GitHub issue, but like we deal with it so much that it still kind of just registers as that. So yeah.
Like it's just the boundary we need to kind of like have. If like we bring up like something, that's a bit different, but like when people can like bring up like those things, it's still that kind of same mode of like thinking about work and worrying about the bugs and worrying about things.
Well, it looks like the Wi-Fi cut out again. He'll be back in a sec. So I think you can still hear me on the recording. But I guess he's frozen. I guess the local Wi-Fi is not so good.
Oh, that happened again. Sorry. I might like just do like an hour today because there's not like too many questions and the Wi-Fi is really bad.
Yeah, I'm okay with doing an hour today. Thankfully, they can still hear me when that happens.
Yes. Yeah, it's because it's like streaming from my laptop, but the connection between my headset and laptop is bad. Isn't which is also asking typongs. One I would like, I don't actually, I might have done this one already. So sorry if I ordered this one, but like the one that's most recent is like the .NET project, because one of the things that we did in November is upgrade to .NET 10. And what's like super cool about it is like, now that we're on the modern runtime, I feel like the .NET project is like one of the best things to ever come out of Microsoft. And one of the reasons is also because they made open source, is MIT licensed, and they have like a lot of community contributions. And every year it gets so many improvements, and all of those improvements are to performance. And now, because we thanks to the splitting, we can be using the modern runtime. We get to benefit from all that work. So literally by just changing a number, we've gotten additional performance boost, and we're gonna get one every year as the runtime improves.
Yeah, it's immediately visible on the cloud too. Like when we upgrade, like the graphs noticeably go down a little bit.
Yeah, the graph just dips a bit. It happened going from .NET 8 to .NET 9. Happened with .NET 9 to 10. I think it happened with 7 to 8 as well. Like it just free performance.
I guess
the project is super cool.
I have a typongs.
I have one.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I like the new ability to run .cs files as standalone like scripts. You don't have to have a project. So now I can replace a lot of my bash scripting on Linux with .NET scripts, or I can prototype projects by just opening a file and writing .NET code in it, and it just works, and I can run it with /thing.cs or whatever, and it's great. It's simplified a lot of my scripting and my prototyping.
Yes, I really like that too, because like I've really written like command line like console apps just to like do some quick jobs because it's so easy for me to write it in C#. But running it, I have to create a project to do this kind of thing. Like it's very these are very versatile, and scripting is like one of those things. Navy 3001 is asking, when is the update's performance going to continue? The list has a lot left. So generally, as a rule, we don't do when questions. Like development is complex, and we don't give dates on things. And also, I feel this is not like the best way to look about it because there's always gonna be a lot of things on the list. We always, look to like build a list like with list all of things to do. We're probably not gonna like focus on any more like major performance improvements for a bit. Like we're gonna we wanna like prioritize like some other things. There's like a lot of like things that are like high on the list. Like we want to look at stuff like like the IK, like protocol collections. We want to look at the UI. Like some other things. And we already kind of like did a big chunk that like helped massively improve the performance. So we're gonna refocus for a bit. Because with any project in Resonite, like you could just spend the entire time on that thing. Like with performance, there's always gonna be more things to add to the list. There's like always gonna be things to do. So I don't think like looking at it the way like there's a lot on the list is there's not a good way to go about it because there's always gonna be things on the list. Like as we kind of do like the ones that are currently on the list, there's gonna be more that's added. And a lot of the development for a lot of things is kind of like never-ending process. The main thing is, is like we had like a massive performance boost that helped a lot of people. We want to do more in the future, but also like we feel like we need to focus on some other things in the meanwhile, both for the platform itself and also just for ourselves. Because if we focus on like one thing for like a really long time, it kind of makes it difficult. So I can't tell you when. Like I said, we generally don't do one questions. It's probably gonna be for a bit before like we're gonna focus on some other things in the meanwhile. Oh no. Sayden Deb is asking, can do this. Why are you upside down? We're not, you are. Wait, are we upside down? The stream going?
Why aren't you, pal? Why aren't you upside down?
I don't know, you are upside down. Tom is asking, are there any checks for file sharing feature? Like, is there something to burn malicious files, or is that up to users? Mostly don't click random interacts on the internet. Yeah, that's kind of up to the user. So if somebody like gives you like exe file and asks you, to export it and then run it, like maybe don't. Like if you don't trust them, it's like file like any other. So like if you don't like download and run like random file from the internet, like don't run a random file, don't export and run the random file from a stranger. The way the system works, it requires your action. So like you need to actually export it, and then like you will need to go to the file explorer and actually run the file. There shouldn't be a way to like do this in an automated way. But like once it gets into your hands and you're like should I run this like exe file that I don't know like where it came from, like that's kind of up to you. And of course, like generally the recommendation is like have up-to-date antivirus on your system, like security tools, so that can like scan it for things, but always use your like judgment. Okay, that's actually all the questions we have now. So how much time we have left? So we're probably just gonna do an hour then, which means we're gonna end in like 24 minutes. So if you got any more questions, feel free to ask. Let's see. It's kind of quiet today.
Yeah.
I know like a lot of people like traveling or something too. It's gonna be Christmas soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna be traveling to Seattle in 4 days or so. I'm gonna be seeing this one and a whole bunch of other people in real life.
It's gonna be all Christmas.
Maybe we can do a real life resonance.
Maybe. Yeah, we could try one. Like I have like my camera, so it look fancy.
Yeah.
So Jacob the Froox is asking, what ideas do you have for the future that will help ease load on you, the other team members, in regards to improving mental health? mean, it's like a lot of the stuff is like, like the stuff that you kind of outlined in the previous stream, like talking about like, hoping about like, going all over things we can do. Some of them like, is, I'm kind of drawing a blank. What are we talking about? See, that's the brain, like, that's the one like, there's like a lot of like different things. Like, one of them is, we actually introduced some of them. We have the new issue templates. We have like, the friction point observation and positive observations. That kind of helps, like, but it's not like quite easing the load, I would say. I would say like one of the things that eases the load specifically is molecule. It's sort of like our update system, because when it comes, especially to having multiple developers and they make code contributions, those should ideally be tested. And having a system like where each developer can just push their changes and then like create a pre-release, like having like as many pre-release channels as we want, very easily. It's like it's gonna make things much easier, because we can essentially have like that like any dev on the team independently run a pre-release, got a bunch of feedback, got a bunch of like bug fixes, and then when we look at merging the feature, we already know, okay, like it has all these issues resolved. Otherwise, would it like happen on main? So I think that will help quite a bit. Spreading some of the things, having like more things documented and written down, I think helps, because if we have like our processes documented, our like philosophy, our like how we can approach things, that helps inform like any team members, like how things should be written, and reduce like some of the friction, some of the back and forth, which is again like why these things are important part of the development. It's not just just writing code. So I think those in particular like will help quite a bit. I'm kind of thinking of this like anymore that like specifically like, oh, the one that also like definitely help, hopefully, is one thing that will probably like help is like open sourcing parts of the engine, like gradual open sourcing, because that way community can contribute, bug fixes and improvement to certain things without like necessarily breaking the core of the thing. So I think that one will also help quite a bit, give community more control and allow for kind of more spread of the work. So yeah, those things I think will particularly help. I do recommend like watching the videos like that are published on the YouTube channel, because they can go into more details on these. The next question is from Ace on Twitch. Is asking, what do you guys wish for this Christmas? So I have like this issue like where like I don't know like what to wish for Christmas, because like the things I really want are like generally too expensive to be Christmas gifts. I usually like I like gadget, like electronic things or so on. Like one of the things I kind of like thinking about is getting a Raspberry Pi, but like I don't want to ask anybody for Raspberry Pi because that's a more expensive thing. Because I want to kind of like mess with it, like with because J4 like made Resonite work on ARM, and I'm like, I want to kind of mess with it and see like have some fun with it as well, and I kind of wanted one for a while, but I don't know, like, so I actually got like a small like gadget thing like for cons, like this round display thing that some like people use as a badge at cons, because you can load like images and videos on it. So actually I've gotten that one, and it was like relatively cheap. I don't know, what about you?
I mean, my own wish is, of course, I want to enjoy the rest of the year and relax and, be with friends, who I consider to be my family. But moreover, I hope that everyone else, can do the same, and especially for people who especially for people like, especially for people in like the US and stuff, like even though the world and stuff kind of seems evil, I want the end of the year to be a respite for everyone to remember that there is still joy to be had in the world with you and your friends and family. So I hope that all of you go into Christmas and have a wonderful holiday and a happy new year.
Yeah. It's very pretty. Like I said. Kind of like with the Christmas, like, like become for reals, like, it's more about, like, spending time with people, and, like, having fun and so on, like, than, the gift part and such.
Yeah.
You get, like, good food, you get to, like, hang out, like, watch some things together. It's a nice time.
Jack says Cyro gets ear nibbles for Christmas. Thank you, Jack.
Well, we get munched. Next question just spin from Satanap. Is there a reason why you prefer Blue Sky for getting showcases from? I chose on Blue Sky is because of your showcases. It was pretty much like the major platform, social like platform. There's also like Mastodon. And we might like start like showing things from there too. One thing I can say, like, we will not be doing showcases from Twitter because we don't want to like promote the platform. And Blue Sky is pretty much like the one like where a lot of people move to. So we'll probably like do that one the most. Like that's like where there's an activity. I know there's like some on the Mastodon instances too, but I don't watch that one too closely myself. But yeah. If there's like any others like you want to like showcase from, we might like do, for example, some from Reddit maybe. We can expand it as time goes.
So I was eating potatoes.
Mr. Alan is asking, are there any new timelines on the network protocols for mutating data model? I'm not actually sure if I understand the question because like when we generally don't do timelines, like we don't give out timelines because like it's hard to predict with like development, especially with like complexities. But also like I don't actually know what I mean by network protocols for mutated data model. That's already like a thing that's like built into Resonite. Like that's pretty much what Resonite is. It's like a network protocol and a mutated data model, and that's how everything is built. So I need to like clarify the question a little bit. Checking the Froox author is asking, since you mentioned Molecule, in what ways will Molecule in the future be accessible to creators on platform? It would be cool to have a built-in versioning system for Wars content. Right now, every developer has their own standard for versioning, and there's little standardization. So, Molecule like is actually meant to be. I recommend like reading the GitHub issue for it because it actually goes over a lot of the things. There's how do I put it? There's actually like a lot of like shared functionality, right? Like like making new versions and updating and so on. So I want to build like a shareable system that can be used for the builds for Resonite itself, but also can be used for items or it can be used for protoflex nodes. We can make libraries and other things, and have like all of the shared logic behind by the same system, and then like differentiate depending on like what it is specific. A lot of it, yes, it'll be like shared. We'll probably only have like it usable by us first because we want to like build more UI and like a lot of like interactions on top of it. But like it's gonna be built around the same core. And the goal is pretty much like once we have stuff like workshop, and you can publish things, it will allow any like user on the platform to like use it as well, make their own channels like for their own creations and have the versioning. For the versioning, like for example, version numbers, will probably like encourage like or like make it like easy to use like what's it called? What's the term? Semantic versioning. Where essentially you're like in a major, minor, like depending on breaking changes. But like ultimately, it's gonna be up to like each creator, or they like because it's just numbers to the system. So it's gonna be up to each creator how they like actually version their stuff. So yeah, like little bit they should be pretty much like possible with it, but it's still like might be like differences how people like use things. Okay, so that's all of our questions again. Still got like 15 minutes. So if you want to ask any more questions, make sure to put question mark, at the thing, that way it kind of pops in our chat. It shows up. And we can like look at it. It's kind of getting dark again. Probably gonna be ending in 15 minutes because it's very slow today. And the internet, like the Wi-Fi's been pretty bad. I wish I could like had like a better headset right now because I can't do the finger photo or do like the embed for social media. Oh, we got a question from Satan Dab. Satan Dab is asking, how does cat meow in Czech? The meow, it's spelled differently though. Let me write it down. It's spelled like this. Or spelled as meow.
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 Meow. It's not
Meow. Sorry.
That's not too different from English. Some of the animal sounds do get like a bit different. Next question we got from Check the Froox Spotter. What's your favorite Photondas module? I don't know like favorite because like a lot of them like they're meant to kind of work together. I mean, I would say it's maybe it's I don't know, it's hard because like there's like a lot of different like effects and oftentimes like they combine well together. I like the simplex like one, like the force, because that like adds a lot of like visual complexity to their particles, but there's also like the one that like makes the force that brings them back together, but you can also use them together. So it's I don't know, it's difficult to pick favorites there. I generally don't like picking favorites. There you go, Danny.
What's on this module? I'd have to say my favorite module's gotta be like the I don't know if I have any one favorite, but I do like the radial force effectors and I do like the size over lifetimes because little do people know that if you use multiple size over lifetimes and you give them opposing start and end sizes, you can make a particle start small, get bigger, and then since those modules are multiplicative, it will get smaller again and then disappear. So you can make start and end particles that get bigger and then smaller over the course of their lifetime.
I have a fun thing for you. One of the small things I've already implemented as my like fun creative things is like adding a module that lets you control the size by texture.
Ooh.
So just make it do whatever over the course of its lifetime.
Yes, please.
Just make a gradient or something. And you can actually like it is also it uses like RGB to like sample each like values. So like if you make them, you could put like 3 different gradients, for example, in each one and have it like change the size. Fix it differently.
That's insane.
Yeah. Next questions from Fairtex. They're asking, what are your thoughts on compatibility to run standalone on Steam Frame? I mean, we would love to do it. We can already dev kit, so well, please.
Yes, some dev kits, please.
We wanna. We do have like interesting architecture because with the split running, it's actually we're running 2 processes. And we have the native.NET process, which runs majority of things that are happening, and then the renderer, which is the unit. And on Linux, it already, the way it works is, thanks to Sire's work, it actually like runs the main process as a native Linux.NET application. So like that's native, like Proton layer, with only the render actually running under Proton. And what's cool about it is this kind of gives more performance because it doesn't need translation layer. So it's getting dark. Let's move over there. Where did my? Oh no, where did my? I had an anchor, but it went away.
Was it in the? No, it's in the frog. It's in the frog. Oh no, I clicked the frog.
Oh no.
No, I need to get rid of it.
We have nice slides.
Yeah, the anchor is inside of the frog. It looks like.
Oh, hold on. I can just switch to it.
What do I desire? There we go. Close that dialogue.
There we go. There we go. Now we got nice slide. So continuing on this, because of our architecture, what we could do on Steam Frame, because it's Linux ARM. So by default, it's probably gonna, if you want to run things natively, it's gonna emulate, x64 on ARM. What we could actually do is run, because .NET 10, which we are using, it supports ARM. And because thanks to JForce work, we also have the native, libraries that we use working on ARM. So we can actually run headless on ARM, but the client uses the same libraries. So we could run majority of the engine natively on the Steam Frame, and then only run the render within, the Proton and I think they call it VEX, the ARM x64 emulation layer.
FEX.
FEX. So we would love to experiment with it and see how much we can get out of it and what kind of experience we can offer, but we don't have hardware to do it. So I would check it's not working. So please. It would also be good just to kind of make sure it actually works out of the box, because I think the controllers are probably not going to work. And we need to add nodes for the controllers, because I feel like a lot of people in our community they're gonna get one and they will want to experiment with making control schemes and stuff. And we have the visual scripting Protoflux. We expose all the controllers that we support, and we would love to support a Steam Frame one, because it has a bunch of controls for people. So yes. I'm very, very curious how how is it gonna run with it.
Yes.
Let's see. The Ballmaster's asking, have you found any promising renders so far? We're not looking for them yet. We're still on the phase 1, which is compiling requirements. Once that phase is done, then the phase 2 will begin, which is actually looking at the renders. There's some that these could be potential candidates, but until we actually have the list of requirements for them, we can't really be is this promising, is this not promising, because we don't know for sure do they have all the things we need, because we don't know what are all the things we need yet, which is part of phase 1. So there's a few they're potential candidates, but we need to finish the list first before we move to actually looking for them. Senna was asking, have you tried Lenovo's command system? I think Lenovo's. Apologize if not. I haven't. I'm not sure what it is.
No, Lenovo's? Lexivo, you mean? Hello?
I was thinking Lexivo,
Who are you talking about? Who is this? I had 5 different things flash in my head.
Yeah, I don't know. Check the Fox asking, any ideas for photos and modules you really want to add in the future? However, what I'm adding right now is sub-emitters. It's actually one of the fun things I've been kind of poking at that I really wanted to do is do sub-emitters. So you're gonna see sub-emitters soon. I already have a chunk of it working. So you're gonna get sub-emitters.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be able to sub-emit lots more cool stuff. Next question's from Kajir. They're asking, where do I put this? What are your thoughts on VRC's inventory system, more specifically with their component systematically filling gaps between your platform's more interesting features and the past year from improved interactivity, contact points, photo spawning, and now inventory system? From your perspective, it would seem that you actually compete regardless of what you consider them. What are your plans on how to differentiate Resonite to casual users going forward? So, from what I understand, their inventory system is not really anything similar to like Resonite's inventory system. Like it's more like a store for things, because with Resonite, like the inventory, you can literally save anything in the world, like that you can grab and have permission. You can save like arbitrary objects, items, avatars, everything, and like even though like it's named the same, like their system doesn't really seem to do the same thing as ours does. So I think it's a bit of like like a false premise like to start with. Like I don't think they're like comparable things. And you can't like just like spawn like arbitrary props the way like you can do on here. So I think like even that itself, like it's still different on the platform. But one of the major things of like Resonite is like the level of interactivity. Like you can spawn anything anywhere, you can save anything anywhere, you can edit things, you can like collaborate in real time. And I don't think that's like a thing that would be very easy to replicate for other platforms. So some things like on the surface, they kind of get like replicated, but like it's missing the same depth of it, and the same same level of like interactivity that you can have on there, like on here. There's like a lot of things to do. Like for example, like one of the things you can spawn is like just we can also import content in real time. You can bring pictures, you can bring in videos. There's a lot of stuff, but all of our focus in general is like people's creativity, the sandbox capabilities, the fact that you can edit anything in real time, without having to like jump out. You can do it in VR and you can do it with like other people, and that's one of the core things that's part of Resonite. And because of how Resonite is designed for that, it gives even a lot of the other features, like for example the inventory. It gives it a lot of the depth that the other platforms are not really able to like replicate. So I think there's like a lot of like things that are like really different about the platform. Once you kind of like look beyond like the surface, and there's gonna be like a lot of overlap too, because people like if you have like basic kind of social platform, there's gonna be a lot of things that are gonna be very similar, and a lot of like similar kind of like functionality, because it's just gonna make sense in ways, like same way if you look at like for example messaging tools. You're gonna find, that you have like a text box to send a message. You're gonna be able to send emojis, stickers, stuff like that. That's similar between a lot of messaging applications, like Discord, Telegram, like even social networks. But there's all like a lot of other things you can do that like are not possible in the other place. But yeah, one thing I was actually gonna still say to that one is like there's also like a lot of like creative functionalities we're planning in the future as well. We have like the visual in-game scripting system, but you also be able to do more with it, like doing stuff like producing music, textures, like like turning Resonate into sort of like virtual studio. We want to do stuff like doing in-game like vertex editing. But even right now, like there's a lot of functionality that is possible on here that like you can't really do like elsewhere. And some of it like very kind of high level, like being able to import any content, like bring 3D models, bring images, videos, music, Gaussian splats, PDFs. Like you can just very easily bring content to share with others, and that kind of stems from the the way Resonite is made, like the high level of interactivity and being able to sort of like modify anything anywhere. So we're getting all the questions now. Yeah, like I don't know what to do, because like we were supposed to end the stream now, and now people just kind of like
I mean,
just do a bunch of questions.
We said we were gonna run for an hour, so
I can do a few more, maybe like a little bit over, but
Yeah, we're probably gonna cut it after these ones, though, guys.
Yeah, we might need to cut it after these. I mean, these are also kind of long ones, so I don't. We might just end it here.
Yeah, I would say if we're gonna end it, I would say just like if you guys
I'm
have
just
any
gonna
questions.
do this one because that one's quick. But
Yeah.
We're now technically over time. We'll be discussing right now there are unique nodes for different control types. We consider a more generic named input node to avoid that node proliferation. Probably not because there might be some more generic stuff which sort of puts that abstraction layer, but the abstraction layer can also hide some of the specifics. We actually have there is the standard controller node, but the problem with standardizing stuff like that is you essentially just provide the least common denominator of things, so you actually miss out all of the specifics of particle controllers. So if you don't care about those, use the standard node. It's going to work across pretty much every single controller node. But if you want to custom tailor integration for a particular node, then if you want to custom tailor it, then you want to use the node that's very specific to particular device. So the pretty much answers that. We said we're gonna finish this at an hour, so we're gonna close it. So thank you everyone for joining the stream. Thank you for supporting this platform. Thanks for joining me here too. Maybe next week we might do Resonance live Resonance. It's not a hard one yes that we'll do it, but we'll try to see if we can make it happen. So don't miss that one if it happens. And thanks everyone, for joining us and supporting this platform, making cool content.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna see if there's anybody to raid. Let's see. Also, yeah, everyone have happy holidays. And also, please next time don't send all the questions at the end.
Yeah.
Let's see, Twitch. Remember, there's also a way to ask questions in advance too, if you can't make. Let's see, is anybody streaming Resonite? No, it's just us, unfortunately. Okay, so we're gonna end the stream here, so thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you next week, maybe. And have happy holidays, have a good Christmas.
And a happy New Year.